incident that occurred last night, August 17th. Today is August 18th. Hopefully we could drop this video today. And it involves a phenom, Fernando Tatis Jr., one of my favorite players in the league.
I'll take him.
Yeah. You suggest an extension at this point. 15 years.
Hell yeah.
I think is what
Extend
you said.
his ass. Give him 15 years. Fuck it.
15 he seems years, like he's worth it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Barring any injuries, he did get hurt last year for a while.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the injury was.
I remember. This is what it was. Someone was either someone was stealing second, or they were picking somebody off, or it was in the middle of a double play moment, and he did like a first base split. To catch the ball.
Yeah, I remember that.
He ended up overextending that split. It was an ugly situation. The scrotum was probably ripped in half.
He sounded like a chipmunk for the next month. So Fernando Tatis yesterday, the Padres are leading the Rangers 10-3. He comes up with the bases loaded, 3-0 count, and I can't remember who the pitcher was. Lays a fucking. It was a meatball.
Goose egg.
Right down the middle. It was like 92 miles an hour or something. And he took it apple taco for a grand slam. Tingler, fucking horrible name, by the way. And Chris Woodward, the managers for the Texas Rangers. Well, first, let me just say about the manager for the Texas Rangers. Didn't like that Tatis swung on a 3-0 pitch when they're winning 10-3. And Tingler then reiterated Padres manager that they weren't trying to run up the score, blah, 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 kind of making, like, not having his players back at all, which I thought was bullshit. And I just want to say, if you don't want a grand slam being hit off of you, then fucking throw a better pitch. Like, I'm sorry. This is the game. This is baseball. This is sports. The point is to, you know what? The point is to run up the score so you can fucking win the game. That's the point.
Yep.
The Rangers could come back from a 10-3 deficit. The chances aren't that good, but it's possible, or a 14-3 deficit. So why would Tatis just stand there and watch a meatball go past for a strike? It doesn't make any sense to me. And this is why it kind of made me think of why we don't see records get broken so much, aside from the steroid era. And it's because of shit like this. Like, Tatis needs these home runs, needs these stats to boost himself up so that he can try to earn more money later on in the future. Why would he let fucking a meatball go past when he could take that home run, earn 4 RBIs, earn another home run on his record? And so, yeah, the point I was trying to make is this is why records will never be broken, because of stupid unwritten rules like this. Like, how many home runs do you think Mike Trout has watched pass by just because he didn't want to hurt the other guy on the other side of the bench's feelings? Give me a fucking break, man. Take the ball, hit the home run, fuck those guys. That's my take.
To be honest with you, like, I've been playing baseball for a long time and watching baseball for a long time, and not until the other day when the Nationals beat the Mets, it was like 11-1 in the 5th inning, I think it was. And it wasn't until I heard Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling talk about, oh, he better not swing in 3-0. Because if he does, back in my day, there would be the next pitch would be high and in or something, right? And it wasn't until that point that I realized that hadn't even been an unwritten rule. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of the rule, don't swing on 3-0. The only rule I ever heard revolving, or better yet, don't swing on a 3-0 count when your team is, leading by however many runs. So that's a dumbass rule to begin with, because, well, who gets to decide what's the limit of runs? I think 5 runs is a lot of runs in the 8th inning. I think a 3-run lead is a good enough lead in the 8th inning. It means they would have to load the bases and the winning run would have to come up to bat. Like, a lot has to go on for it to get to that point. So I consider 3 runs a lot, 5 runs. In this case, what was it? 8 runs, I think it was, or 8-3?
7 runs.
7 runs. Okay. So it wasn't until that game with the Nats and the Mets that I even heard of that unwritten rule where you don't want to swing on a 3-0 ball when you're up by however many runs. And then sure enough, Fernando Tatis did that. The result was a grand slam. The first thing I want to say is I'm disappointed at Fernando Tatis for even apologizing for it.
Yeah,
don't apologize for that shit. You're paid to do that exact same thing, and the guy throwing you the ball is paid to prevent that. So don't apologize for hitting home run. But I will say this. I do see I could see a situation where you're winning by a lot of runs, in this case 7, and for the guy to lay down a bunt to get on base. Like at that point, I feel like just swing away.
I think
Like
that's different. For me, that's
it's
different.
it's different, but it's still it leaves the door open that there is an unwrittenness.
Yeah.
You know, there's an unwritten rule to baseball, and I do think there are unwritten rules to baseball. We're gonna get into a list of them in a moment, but I just wanted to point that out, that you don't ever apologize for hitting a home run, 3-0, 3-1. Like, what's the big difference? What? So like, let him get ahead 3-1, and now you're what? You're you supposed to like let the next one go? Can you swing at the next
Right.
one? What's the difference? The outcome's going to be the same. Stupid shit. Don't ever
Yeah.
apologize for
So
swinging the bat and putting the bat on the ball ever.
right. I don't know. I
Don't
just don't. If put yourself in that situation, you've been in that situation way more than I have, but you see a meatball, you're not gonna swing at it. Like,
if anything, you should want guys to swing at it. Not because I
yeah,
mean, first of all, understand that. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the only unwritten rule of baseball that I ever followed with 3-0 counts is that you growing up, I mean, is that you don't swing on a 3-0 count. Don't miss the opportunity that the pitcher's going to throw a ball for, and you get a run in, and you just replay the situation with the next at bat. So that's the only rule I ever really followed. I'm more likely to not swing at 3-0, but I did notice, the older I got, the more professional baseball I watched, the elite hitters, the guys that are locked in, like the Pujols, the
right.
Trouts, guys like that are given the green light because they don't. There's a chance they're not going to miss. Tatis is one of. There's a chance they're going to miss. But even with that, you look at what the elite hitters do. The chances of that ball being hit out of the park are not that high. So if anything, you'd want a guy to swing at a 3-0 pitch and have that be the out to get you out of the inning, like nobody would be complaining if he swung and popped up to like the infield. I just think it's a stupid rule.
Yeah, and now I'm watching it on a replay on Twitter right now, and he didn't even put like the best swing on it. He kind of just threw the bat out there, and the ball flung out. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to say that he wasn't trying to do that, but I just don't. I don't. And this is another one of those things that I understand why a multi-sport athlete, Kyler Murray, the most recent one, would choose football over baseball. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we're talking about today. Like, come on.
Duh,
And
I'm upset that he even apologized for it.
yeah, at the same time, I think that Tingler and Woodward, and I think I saw Eric Hosmer talking to Tatis in the dugout. Like, it almost sounded like he was explaining like why you don't do this. I can't hear what they were saying, but that's what it seemed like. Um, it seems like they're the outsiders on this, because if you go on Twitter today or anywhere on the internet, any write or anything, it's taking the position that Tatis did nothing wrong. So hopefully this conversation starts shifting in the other direction. We start talking about why that pitcher threw that fucking meatball with the bases loaded and a 3-0 count. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you do know why he threw a meatball, because he thought he was going to take it for a strike. But
Yeah,
come
I
on,
mean,
like,
yeah, I'm not blaming the pitcher for throwing a meatball because more often than not in that situation, the guy is going to take the pitch. Like,
yeah,
but I don't think I would never think that he's taking the pitch to be considerate. Because like, what happens if he hits it? So what? Like, should he feel bad for hitting a grand slam like on a 2-0 count?
yeah, right, yeah, right,
You know,
exactly.
would the situation still fit on a
Or an
2-0
O,
count?
or just the first pitch in the at bat. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
okay, so you're up by 7 runs. It's Fernando Tatis, bases loaded. There's a mind state going into that at bat, thinking like, well, I'm gonna get ahead with this first pitch strike. What if he took that one deep?
yeah.
Like,
Well, and then conversely, then another situation happened. I think it was yesterday, where Juan Soto
yeah,
hit a home run off of Will Smith, and he just that was flat out disrespect. I mean, I don't know what's happening, what happened between Will Smith and Juan Soto prior to this or whatever, but he made it abundantly clear, Will Smith, you're my bitch. Like, that's what I just did to you. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked it, and maybe I'm biased because I love Juan Soto, but I could see a situation like that being talked about more today than the Fernando Tatis situation.
That was a bomb, by the way.
Oh
So
my God.
Juan Soto is the
On
new Albert.
fire, man.
He's the new Albert Pujols. He's the new machine.
Unbelievable.
Like, I can't think of I can't think of a better nickname than the machine, you know, 2.0 or updated, upgraded, whatever. But
and continue to let baseball, please continue to let him do these things, because it's good for the sport. People will watch if shit like this continues.
yeah, and I just want to say about that incident, I don't want to put all the blame on Juan Soto for extending that moment with the stare and flipping the bat and, you know, all that trashiness talk to the game. But I'm wondering, like, I feel like he was only staring back because the pitcher must have been staring at him to begin with. Because when do you ever see a pitcher stare directly? Like, it's like his head never moved from Juan Soto's position. So it's like, what was the pitcher doing looking at Juan Soto? Usually you see a pitcher give up a ball like that, the first thing you do is turn back and look to see where it landed. Like, holy shit!
Or they turn back and start rubbing the next ball. Let's get ready for the next batter.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
So I almost feel like Juan Soto. I'm not saying he's 100% innocent, but if you leave that door open for a guy like Juan Soto, he's like, what, 21? He's still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to you know, take the next step. So if you have Alex Bregman carrying a bat to first base, Juan Soto's going to carry the bat and one up you. Like, I think I can't get mad at him for always wanting to have the last word, especially since kind of puts the stamp on it. But Dansby Swanson actually had the last word last night.
Yeah.
Walks it off with a 2-run homer in the 9th. So Juan Soto had to eat that towards the end. But
so I'm watching the replay too, and I agree with you. It almost looks like Smith threw the pitch and like was waiting for Juan Soto's reaction. He was like almost inciting a problem for me. I know that seems like he's grasping at straws, but that's what it looked like to me. I'm watching it right now. Soto hits the home run. He knows it's gone right off the bat, and Smith just stares at him the entire time. Like,
doesn't flinch. Yeah, and it's like,
not flinch.
And again, not making excuses for Juan Soto, because although I like the aggressiveness that he's bringing to baseball, I don't like overdoing stuff like that. But when has Juan Soto ever, and I hope this isn't I hope this isn't like a common thing that I'm just like, you know, putting my foot in my mouth about, but when has Juan Soto ever stared a pitcher down like that? Especially, you know,
it's not, to my knowledge, it's not something only during the shimmy. But again, we talked about the shimmy, and the shimmy is a challenge. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and the shimmy happens pre-result. Like, it's before the at bat even finishes. So I love the shimmy. Like, let's not.
And the shimmy for me is almost like a boxer standing in his corner staring the other guy down. It's like, my attention is on you. I got, like, you're my target right now. And that's how it should be. And then on top, not just that, but I feel like anything that happens during an at bat, unless it's intentional, like a ball between the numbers or whatever, anything that happens during an at bat, whether it's the pitcher strikes you out on a, you know, on a 100-mile-an-hour heater up top or whatever, or you hit a home run on a nasty slider that nobody expected you to hit a home run off of, you should be allowed to celebrate in your little moment there. Like, if you're the pitcher and you strike out Juan Soto in that situation, I would have no problem if Will Smith started pumping his fist and being like, fuck that, like, take that, motherfucker. Like, I don't care. Like, that's
grabbing his nutsack and everything. Like, yeah, motherfucker.
That's adrenaline. That's a basketball player dunking over somebody and shouting like, like, this is what I just did, right? Same thing for Juan Soto. Let him have his moment. He hit the home run. Let him flaunt if he wants to. Like, just let it go. But for some reason, baseball is just full of people that are soft as fuck, man, and it needs to stop.